Once I thought I'd write something artificially, nothing new, nothing king, nothing big. Just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king, king. Happy, many down, many jack, king from right. Just new king, big, great, can, new, happy. The owls are not what they seem, the owls. People very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king, king. Happy, many down, many jack, king from right. Just new king, big, great, can, new, happy. The owls are not what they seem. The owls are not what they seem. The owls, people very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king, king. King, happy, many down, many jack, king from right. Just new king, big, great, can, new, happy. The owls are not what they seem, the owls.
I'm just kind of wondering too, as people are coming into the space, I think there's sort of a very natural, do they start out on the fringe? I don't really know, actually.
Well, see, here's the thought that I was having the whole time, because, I think most people feel misunderstood, not really known, and that would necessarily bring them into this idea that they're fringe. And then because of the isolation due to technology and individualism, they really feel fringe. But it's been my experience in the many relationships that I've had, like in real life relationships, like everybody says that to me. And then I'm thinking, oh, that's how I feel. And then I'm like, well, I think we all feel like this. So I don't know if there's only certain, because, a lot of people want to deduce that this corner attracts fringe people. I think it just attracts people. And people now, because of the lack of community, and I would also go so far as to say globalism, because of globalism and the tearing down of, smaller places of connection, people groups and whatever communities, people are really feeling fringe, and of course in Canada, that word has a specific meaning, okay? Because Justin Trudeau called the people who participated in the trucker convoy just a fringe portion of society. And so it's a running joke, because it turned out that 70% of the population were fringe. So that's not fringe anymore, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty big fringe.
That's a big fringe, yeah. And so, there's cups now and hats and scarves and banners and everything, that we're all part of the fringe, right?
Oh, hi. It's Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. This is a live stream. And I'm me. This is what I do. It's I don't know if it's internet beggary. We got that whole busker thing, grifting thing, what have you. But this is what I do, and I haven't been able to do it. Probably shouldn't still do it, but here we are, nonetheless. Red Church card of the show. Ooh, the 9 of Hearts. We have fancy pants. Look at these fancy new. You can show the comments on the thing there. On the thing there. Look, here you are. How does then you're here. You're right there. There. Hi. Oh God. Oh. Welcome. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Don't forget to click the ones that have sound.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Just lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
Living on the fringe of cringe. Hello, Cassandra, Jonathan, Mark, Avriel, Chad, Charlie, Dumir, Upcycle Club, and I said Mark, but there's like 8 of them. There's Tunji way up there with a hat. Mark was first. He gets points for that. Savings throws versus mind control. I know you remember how those go, but since McMo made the branding for it, here's the explainer. I think in the corner has been swamped with a
mind control.
Savings throws for mind control. So this is how bad I have failed.
I understand you have respect for serious play. Yes, I have a ritual with my channel where, like reminding fish that they're in water, I remind people that there's a lot of mind control out there, even if you just consider advertising.
So this is how bad I have failed.
I give you a savings throw against the mind control I use against you. So A, you know I'm using it against you, and if it works, I get more points. And B, you get the chance to resist it. You base your resistance on your choice between your will to survive, your social networks, your accumulated wisdom, or the power of your heart.
Mind control will continue in a moment.
And it will continue. So in case you want to resist some of it, I give you that opportunity by inviting you to make a choice on how you'll resist the mind control with your will to survival, your social network, your accumulated wisdom, or the power of your heart. You pick survival, social, wisdom, or heart. I roll the die, 10 or higher, half damage. 10 or higher, half damage. Under 10, full damage. Bonuses can apply. The die might come up an 8, but if you've chatted in the hive mind, you get a +2. So that would be a 10, and you take half damage. Imagine that. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Survival is coming in strong today with the 15 number. That's over 10, so you'll be taking half damage. Unfortunately for the socialists, your bonuses do not apply. The power of the natural one removes your bonuses. However, the wisdom folks know that when you get a nat 20 like that, you get a +3 to the next set of rolls, which is amazing, and you've made it. And Heart and Indigo are both pairing up prime with 17 today. So that's interesting. I have mind control tab. I have Essenes tab, and I have a job search tab. You see, I could become an Arby's team member at damn near 50, and that's a joyful thing. That's an opportunity I have, something to consider.
Did you get that on video?
No, I'm not going to.
That's I'll show you.
Look, the gator is obviously.
Hey, yo! I just feel bad for this game. My God. Yes, okay.
And to be honest, I'd rather die than work at Arby's. And that's really the problem I'm having at the moment. You see, I've decided that maybe after the dog attack and the financial and problems and these things, that maybe sobriety is the way to go. And so that's this. And it's the crushing power of the hopelessness makes me not want to participate at all. I would trade places with the lady who had the heart attack in my house. And but see, you can't that, because if I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Here, hold on.
I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
That one's groovy. I like the groove on that one. I don't know if the copyright's gonna nab us, but that's that. I can't read those tiny things, but I can see that they're over there and click over to them now. They're very tiny on my screen. Well, click this text to edit it. Yeah, I know, but you can't. Okay, let's see. We put things. We do cards. And, all right. Blue Church card of the show. Hey, it's our good friend. It's our good friend. Speaking of which, here's the first tab we have. It's from this show. This show here. It's called The Deep End. The Deep End with Taylor Welch, and from the My Grandpa Erased My Memory episode this year.
Humans have. We got the information about pharmakia and all this stuff from fallen angels in the beginning. So we're kind of like, let me tell you if I'm correct on this. Macro run through history to present. You have these fallen angels who have come. They want to take over. They are punished. They're sort of trapped somewhere, but there's some level of communication has already gotten out. The cat's already out of the bag. And so humans know things that we shouldn't. And so we're now weaponizing this, and you have like these human agents that are working for fallen beings. And there's a level of liability protection for these fallen beings because they're working through, like, there's arm's length distances. And we had somebody on, Gary Wayne was talking about this, like the fallen angels, like they're not stupid. And so they're kind of, they have a distance. They're communicating so that their stuff will get done, but they're distanced from the act itself, right? Did you have exposure or interaction with the actual spiritual entities, or was it just the liaison of other people in the covens and in the cults?
Kind of a way to view it as like a shot caller from prison is how I see a lot of the principalities operating, the fallen ones that are kept in chains of darkness. They use, I mean, technology has become the medium that they've helped to implore to come in to where they could have their message, their word into the masses, get their message to the masses. But before that, the methodology was ritual magic, was ritual practices. And these types of cults that had been carrying a piece of Babylonian mysticism all along figured out a phone book directory to use to call to those spirits that are in darkness. And so my experience early on, I think it'll help to set an understanding of how the families are looking to put themselves and position themselves in the hierarchy. And each family, there can be it's a genuine inverse pyramid, that the way that it operates. And there's a hierarchical ranking structure for that, based off of, on one side, your bloodline gives you access to the kingdom, and then your actions, your works help to substantiate your ranking in that hierarchy, and it can change. And so that's why there's feudal systems. That's why there's fighting between these families. And that's why there's different agendas that they are endorsing and advocating, because they believe their methodology is going to persuade the forces of men to align with them. But there's a lot of conflict. But when it comes to the male side of the equation, they will put forth a child, a son, as their carrier and their contention to be a part of the beast, or to potentially be the actual carrier of the Antichrist spirit, to advance it on there. And so there's a course that if you're put on in those families, like there was 13 other boys that would come into this. The specific chamber I'm talking about is under the London.
Now this guy, his name is Nathan Reynolds, and he's reportedly written a book. He claims that he was part of a family such as mentioned, and that they traumatize you when you're really young to create personality alters as part of the ritual abuse sort of things. And it occurred to me that, that if any of that is remotely true, then it's really, I don't know, and we have people worrying about, like, am I going to get what I need from the Baptists, or should I be a Catholic? Is that more the church for me? Meanwhile,
London Bridge in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, there's these hollow chambers that are under the bridge. It's a bridge that was brought over here from the city of London over the River Thames. And it was where they used to hold public executions. It's the lampposts that are on it were the melted down cannons from Napoleon's war. It's a very charged object. And they used to practice inurement, which is where they would sacrifice a living person into the walls of it and then entomb them alive inside. And when they were dismantling the bridge in the 1960s to bring it over here, they found men and women and children's bodies in the walls of that bridge. This is why the London Bridge is falling down. That nursery rhyme, that's what it's talking about. That people needed to give their children over to this power, their family. If someone will sacrifice their son, they're fully committed. But inside that chamber, that's where they would call on these the fallen. And I have learned enough over time to understand that these are masquerading spirits that would manifest to question their form or their figure as they would come, but they would engage in these things that were like the trials of Apollo on the suns. And there are specific rituals and acts that you have to do, actions that you have to take, pieces of literature you need to memorize, gestures. They make you do a lot of really bizarre and creepy things. And as you're doing that, they'll start to incant, the priest that's leading it will start to call on a specific mighty one, a specific deity that they're trying to invoke to come and manifest in the room and to make his presence known. That recipe book they're following requires all the ingredients of people to work cohesively. The vast majority of times it doesn't work. The vast majority of the times there is not manifestation. There is not a physical manifestation in the room, or there can be a possession over here where someone is speaking and mimetically dictating they're talking in Twilight languages, and then they have an interpreter. I mean, it's a full counterfeit for what you would see in the body. There's literally interpreters. There's literally people that are then writing it down and now writing the books. This is their book of Lamb that they want to dictate.
But don't worry, guys. None of that happens. He's clearly a liar, grifter, just using you for trying to get money off of saying horrible things are happening. It's all that satanic panic nonsense. The devil's not real. None of this. It's all bullshit. I'm sure. The King of Hearts is the Jux deck card of the show. Here's some branding to wash that out of your mind now.
Remember, everybody, there is no agency. We want what's best.
Up next for you, we have these people from, what is it called? Is it the Jesus Way? No, it's just the Aaron Abke channel. They do the Jesus Way podcast up in the top. These cats are interesting because they're into Ra and stuff too. And since me and Av are looking into that, that's kind of interesting. They had on them on this particular podcast, the guy in the middle there is apparently one of those Dead Sea Scroll, ancient whatever researcher guys. And this was kind of interesting.
According to you and what's in your book, Dr. Tabor, like how would you explain or define Christianity before Paul to somebody?
Yeah. So here's the book where people aren't confused. Paul and Jesus.
That's the one.
Well titled, right? Paul and Jesus. Just like Jesus in the Dead Sea Scrolls. How the Apostle Transformed Christianity is the subtitle. And you are right. Christianity before Paul, chapter 1. Okay, terminology. Again, we need a beeper. Christianity before Paul? Is it Christianity?
It's a bit anachronistic.
Exactly. But I did it on purpose because I want people to say, what do you mean before Paul? Paul is part of Christianity. And yeah, Jesus was before Paul, but you sound like there's something else different from him. And actually, I think there is. What I found about this book, Aaron, that surprised me, I couldn't predict it. People that love Paul actually love this book. And people who don't like Paul, maybe even hate Paul. And a lot of people hate Paul. Seems like it's popular to hate Paul. They also like this book.
So interesting.
I tried to figure out why. Why would some love Paul and some hate Paul?
Means you wrote it well.
Like the book. And I think it's because I got Paul right. So it comes down to who you're going to listen to. If Paul says, I just talked to Jesus and he told me X, Y, Z, and you think that's Jesus for sure, then I guess you better listen if you want to follow Jesus. Now, this is the crack in the cosmic egg, I realize. And for a lot of people, there's a lot of security. There's a whole world. There are families involved. There are children. I mean, you were a pastor, Aaron, you know, and Cam, I think you did Christian music. I was raised in the Churches of Christ, you know, the early years of my life until I was probably about your age, in my 30s, I began to learn more about historical studies and realize something else was going on. And now, years later, I'm still on that path. But it's kind of a crack, so to speak, but some light begins to get in. And it really comes down to whether you give a lot of weight to what appear to be the authentic original teachings of Jesus, as close as we can get back. But I'm not really a Paul basher the way many haters of Paul are, for two reasons. First, I think he comes from the Essene, Nazarene, what are you going to call it? Jesus, Jamesian, John movement.
Ebionine.
He was a fair.
You guys do know what an Essene is, right? That's really all very fascinating. He's not so hot on the divinity of Jesus, or at least not so hot on the sacrificial atonement part.
Pharisee, what does he become? He becomes a follower of the way.
Yeah.
Okay. So keep that in mind. And therefore, he's the one who says, children of light, children of darkness, 1 Thessalonians 5, you are children of light. He knows the language. He also says, when I first had my vision, I went away into the Arava. The Arava, it's not Saudi Arabia. The Arava is the Dead Sea Rift Valley where Qumran is. You could go to Tel Aviv tonight, airport, land, go out, get a cab, say, I want to go to the Arava. They would look at you like, are you sure? You want to go to the Dead Sea tonight? You know, if you just, okay, it was evening. Yes, the Arava. Oh, okay. Where would you like to be dropped off? Maybe some hotels along the Dead Sea or something. No, the Arava is a region. Mount Sinai's in the Arava. Okay, it doesn't mean Saudi Arabia. It's the Sinai Peninsula. So prepare the way in the Arava is what Isaiah 40 says. It's like pick a desert, Mojave Desert, that okay? Sahara Desert, no. Go into the Arava and begin to proclaim the way. That's what this group is doing. What does Jesus do? The Spirit drives him into the Arava, where he's tempted for 40 days, where Moses went, where Elijah went. So it's a region. So what does Paul say? As soon as I had this revelation, I went away for 3 years into Arabia, it's translated in England, into the Arava. I think he was influenced by this group. Now, I can't psychologize any person, Paul, from the past especially, but even today. What led him to come also to other views that this group did not share, to finally say, you know, one person eats meat, another person doesn't, don't worry about it. Romans 14, one person observes a day, another person doesn't. Let each be persuaded his own mind. And I think that's the other great influence. He is so convinced that the end is coming. I want to say, I always tell my students, the end is coming next summer, guys. You know, let's say I'm teaching in May. I want them to get the feeling. The end is coming. By next May, you won't even be in class. The end will be here. That's the feeling of Paul's letters. He says the appointed time has grown very short. I don't even know that you should get married. He says that. Read 1 Corinthians 7. He says that the time of distress is coming. That's Daniel 12. Time of trouble, worse than ever. This is not the time to get married, have children. Jesus said, woe to those that are nursing. There's nothing wrong with the mother nursing a child. Cam has a baby right now. There's some nursing in that house. Is that evil? Well, it might not be wise if the end was coming next summer and you were wondering whether to start a family. These are practical things. Women, just run it like the synagogue for now, if you don't mind. In Christ, there's neither male nor female, but right now, women, if you have a question, ask at home. But what did people do? They took all of that and universalized it and made ironclad laws for all time that were completely different than. I'd love to bring Paul back and say, what do you think now? But on one thing, I have to draw the line, and that is he decides that justification by grace through faith is true, which it is. You can quote a dozen scriptures. How about Psalm 51 again? Justification by grace through faith. Against you and you all. I mean, what else is it? Justification by grace through faith, dependent upon the shed blood of Jesus, the Son of God, who died for our sins as a sacrificial atonement, and without him, there is no forgiveness. Now, he added that, right? Jesus may well have applied the suffering servant idea to himself, Isaiah 53, but remember, there are other suffering servant hymns. There are 4 altogether. But I'll tell you one thing. He also said, and if you would follow me, the suffering servant, you become a suffering servant too. And as Dietrich Bonhoeffer said in the opening of his book, The Cost of Discipleship, when Jesus calls a man, a person, we would say today, he calls him to die.
Although this world will devastate you, and rejoice although this world will penetrate you, and rejoice although you will not survive. Rejoice you'll never make it out alive.
Excellent rehearsal, gentlemen.
And rejoice your hair, it smells like burning hair. Oh, rejoice, your nails all got chewed off. Oh, rejoice, and holy fuck, you're bleeding there. Oh, rejoice, you burn your whole beard off. Rejoice, despite the fact this world will hurt you. And rejoice, despite the fact this world will kill you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will tear you to shreds. Rejoice because you're trying your best.
Hey, I love that one. That's gorgeous. Thank you, brother. Wait, who's that brother?
LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP off. That was a McMo one, I think. I believe that was a McMo masterpiece. I think that was his stylistic impression, signature thereof. Okay. Look, a chord. You guys are so slow. You're never going to finish it in time. You're just one short there, F. F wants everybody to do LARP and then hard and then MFers, but it usually doesn't happen. Hey, CZ, you get +4. What is it? 4? Is it +2? No, 4? I don't even remember. How much do you get for corn? You guys can't have corn now. It's got to be chat delay. It's not muted. This button is not pressed. I think that's over, but you all get the bonuses. Yeah, it's about a 3 of clubs agency deck. Okay, so I've been what happened is I've been it's been since like middle school. Middle school, I think, is when I cashed out on wanting to live, and up until always, it's always there. It's always there, but the sativa cannabis for me fogs out that and lets me operate as if it was not the case. And now I'm not doing that. Now and we're seeing what happens when I don't do that. And so for at least like the last 5 days or so, it's been very much like only that. Only that. But things keep falling apart worse and worse if I don't at least do this. So that's where I've been. I want to give a special thanks to Tom and Ups and Avril for I don't know, making this feel like my job. But I'm in a spot. I'm in a spot, but I'm trying. Oh,